Hello again, fourth graders, and welcome back to our session writing workshop. This is session 13, and today we are going to pick up where we left off as far as our writing, where we yesterday had a chance to work on our actual drafting of the story. But today we need to work on our introduction and conclusion of our story. Our session 13 is all about the beginning and the end. You're going to have to choose between either doing this at the end of your draft, in other words, like on the back of that paper or on a new sheet of paper that you can attach to it, or you can do these on separate pages within your writing journal. So you're going to need to figure out what works best for you to work on your introduction and your conclusion. I would mark these as intro and conclusion wherever you put them, whether it's on scratch paper or in your journal, because that way they will be a part of your story as you develop your overall writing story. I want you to think about how your work on your reasons are coming along in your drafting, and think about what you need to do today to finish your draft. Today we'll also learn a little bit about how essayists write an introduction to their essay. You not only want to hook the reader, but you're also going to get the reader to start to care about the ideas in the essay. Writers, today we will learn that essay writers often use the beginning of an essay as a place to convey to readers that the ideas in the essay are important. The beginning is the place where essayists get readers to care about their ideas and place them in context. Now, essayists do a couple of things when introducing topics clearly. One thing they do is provide a little bit of background to get the reader's mind revved up. They let the reader know that this essay is important as another way to introduce the topic clearly. So instead of writing, "You should read my essay," they use more formal, serious ways of saying this, such as, "What people need to know is that," or "sometimes in life," or "I have found that." These are some ways that you can start your essay. You're going to want to find that hook that works for you. Again, some of these phrases will work for you and some won't. You may also need to change the wording around a bit to fit what you are trying to say. So to start, think about who will read your essay. We are aiming your essay at your fellow classmates, your fourth grade friends. Here's a nice example. What parents need to know is that the schools their children attend and the teachers they have are nowhere near as important as the education that children receive at home. My father has been my most important teacher. He's taught me to love work, to love writing, and to believe one person can make a difference. You notice how that last part are the reason and the evidence pieces that this student has used. We've been using this idea, of course, throughout our writing unit. Here's a great introduction continuing. I used to think that the teachers my children have in school would make or break them. I'd worry frantically if one of them had a teacher who wasn't superb. But I've come to realize that the teachers who matter most aren't always the official ones children have in school. In my life, my father is my most important teacher. He taught me. Another great introduction of the story. So today you'll be revising as needed to finalize your supporting paragraphs and connecting them into a draft. Once you've done that, write a few possible introductions. If you want to make a really solid one, or if you want to write a few, and choose the one that best makes your case that your thesis is important and should be listened to. So again, part of our lesson today is working on the introduction. Well, introductions aren't the only place where you will want to convey the importance of your ideas. Essayists also use the conclusion to make sure readers will understand the meaning of their essay and why it matters. At the end of essays, writers want their readers to know that they have realized something and now will act differently. Some ways to end an essay are, "I realized that," "This makes me think," Other people should care about this because this is important because, or including your thesis statement, whatever this thesis statement is true. Because this is true, isn't it also true that those are some great ways to end or conclude your essay? Here's an example. I realize that parents have a big responsibility. They are important teachers for their children, even when they may not realize they are teaching. This makes me wonder what my own children will say I have taught them. I hope I have been as good a teacher for them as my father was for me. So, to practice, you need to pick one of those phrases from the chart and write out a possible ending in your head. At this point, I would even simply write it down on paper to make sure we have the ideas that we want to use written down. That is as far as we will take things here in session 13. At this point, for your writing assignment today, I want you to practice writing a solid introduction and a solid conclusion. As I stated at the beginning of this particular video, you can either write this after the story that you've written as your rough draft. If there's still room and you want to insert it at the beginning, you could certainly do that. Otherwise, feel free to write your introduction and conclusion in your writer's journal. Eventually, we will be writing and typing this story out for your final copy, so you can continue to put your introduction and conclusion on paper, even if it's not in the order that you're going to have it at the end. Let's have a solid introduction and a solid conclusion as you work on those two parts of your story today. Get started.